Alright, so we have two new lights that just hit the market from Zhiyun. This is the new Fiveray F100 and the M40. Both of these lights pack a ton of power in the smallest package that I've ever seen. And by the way, I did a little challenge for myself. I shot with my friend Mike O Hearn in downtown Los Angeles, and I only wanted to use just these two lights. So let me show you how that video came out. Now, in all fairness, I did not edit this video to the soundtrack that you just heard because that's a royalty-free soundtrack. I edited it to another drum and bass song, which is honestly such a good drum and bass song. I'll put the title in it right here, so check it out and just imagine hearing it to that song. But anyway, I do think the video came out pretty good. Mike was really happy with it, and we're cutting up the footage and using it for a lot of different type of projects in the near future. But yes, I only used just the F100 and the M40, but as you can see in the BTS, we only had me and my friend Jeff working on this shoot with Mike. That's it. We had no professional jibs, no nothing. And what's really unique about the F100C is that it's made to be handheld. Yes, it has a 1/4 20-inch mount adapter at the bottom, so you can mount it to a light stand or something like that, but it's really meant to be handheld. So how did I light this whole entire video up? Well, I was on a Weeble 3 gimbal that Zhiyun also makes. By the way, it's my favorite gimbal right now in the market. Check out my review for it right here. But anyway, I used one hand holding the gimbal, one hand holding this light, and that's how I was able to light up the scene. The M40, on the other hand, is a much smaller light, but because it's 40 watts, something that I haven't seen in such a small light before, it can output so much power, but you can also sneak it in tight areas, such as a dash inside of a car. And that's exactly what I did for this specific shot when I needed to light up Mike's face. Now, people with lighter skin colors are gonna need warmer lights. Especially with the M40, it's very good that we have the option to switch between cooler LEDs and warmer LEDs. This is a bicolored light, the M40, while the F100 is full RGB and bicolor too. Now you're gonna get the full 100 watts of brightness out of the F100 when you are in boost mode, which is 4000 Kelvin. And in this mode, you're gonna get about half an hour of runtime. And when you're outside, especially in the area that I was shooting in, you're gonna need a light like this that can output 100 watts of power, because I had to be far back in order to get those wide shots, but I also wanted Mike to be lit up. So if you notice in some of the BTS shots, I'm constantly holding the light in one hand, either Jeff is holding it or I'm holding it, and I have the gimbal in the other hand. And if you look closely, I always have it up and down at a 45-degree angle, just so I have one side of his face lit up. The tunnel that we were shooting at has its own specific lights that are, in built into the tunnel, and they looked extremely ugly. So I had to mess around with the white balance of the actual camera, and thankfully this is RGB and CCT custom color temperature, so I can always adapt this light to my camera settings. Now, as I move closer onto Mike, you can see how the light really warms up and lights up his skin and separates him from the background. A second scenario where I used the M40 when I was lighting up Panda, which is one of Mike's dogs. Here she is sleeping or hanging out in the car rather, and I had the light kind of held again at a 45-degree angle, and she's looking up at the light, and you can see the reflection of the light in her pupils. That's really something I crave whenever I'm shooting these types of sci-fi futuristic types of shots. I love that lit pupil. And these two lights, because of their shape, especially this one right here, it has more of that tubular shape. Tubular, funny word, but yeah, it has that tube shape. You can see the reflection in Mike's eyes, that single line of light, and that's what really sells the shot. So whenever you're lighting up a subject, don't just focus on the light and the amount of light it's outputting, but also focus on the pupil, because our eyes are very reflective, and especially if you're doing some cool futuristic shots, yeah, that's something that you really want to look forward to. Now, some features about the light itself. Now, it is 100 watts when you're talking about the F100, so it's going to produce quite a bit of heat, which is why there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 fans that are cooling this thing down. On top of that, it has a built-in battery, which again will give you about half an hour of runtime at full blast and over 1 hour when you're using the basic CCT mode at full brightness. When you go into RGB mode, that's when things get really interesting, because Zhiyun incorporated some cool lighting effects. You know, we have our traditional faulty bulb, firelight, candlelight effects, but we have some cool RGB tracing as well. When we go into the tracing modes, you can really see how the LEDs work to create a smooth, cool trailing effect within the light. And you can use this in so many different scenarios. You can even bring it to a party, have a good time there too. And it's not that heavy of a light. I mean, it's very well built, it's made out of plastic, but it doesn't crunch. It's very strong and solid. So you can bring this on a lot of different shoots, and I just love the overall versatility. Also, this light has accessories such as these reflectable barn doors, which are adjustable and can conduct a really nice angle of light. And this is something that was a must on the shoot, because I didn't want it to light up more than just Mike's face. Sometimes the light can bleed, and you don't want it to do that, which is why you use barn doors. You want to direct the light on a specific subject and keep it there. We also have a grid which attaches to the barn doors and directs the light even further, and on top of that we have an elastic diffuser which will just simply wrap around the light. Regards to the M40, this is a much simpler light because it doesn't have any effects or anything like that. It's simply a bright and powerful light with a fan on the back, giving us that high output, and of course our CCT mode, which is adjustable with the dial. And the dial on this thing for the power and the custom color temperature is very smooth and a joy. And check it out, something really cool. Since this light has a metal bracket which is adjustable, you can use both of these 1/4 20-inch ports to either mount it on a light stand or mount it on a selfie stick and use it for high angles. So if you need to light up your subject from a distance or a specific height, you can easily do that with this light, which is why it's so important that you get such a powerful light in such a small package. You don't want to be dangling a heavy light off of a C-stand and carrying it, or off of a boom pole or a selfie stick. You want something that's light and portable like the M40 that won't break your hands. So overall, I'm very happy with what Zhiyun produced with the F100 and the M40. Check out the link down below because they're doing a big sale on these lights. Let me know what you think of them in the comment section below, and I'll see you in another video. Peace.